Hello everybody, I just wanted to come today and do a little 4th of July project with you all. I just put it in high speed so this video wouldn't be too long. I'm just collaging papers down and I'm deciding which ones to put on right now. The little stars are from a napkin that I had that was a patriotic napkin. Then I put some papers down that I had. I'm just showing you this. I was going to use this glue, but it was dried out, so I just suggest you use your products so they don't just dry out on you. But now I'm going to use Mod Podge to just collage these papers on real quick. I hope everyone's having a good 4th of July. My idea with making these tags was just to give you a little insight on my process without going into a lot of detail, and also maybe just inspire you to make something for the 4th of July. Maybe you don't have a 4th of July journal, but maybe you have a journal where you keep your memories and you just want to add a little tag in there for the 4th of July, or maybe you have a book that's just set aside for all your holidays and you could add this. Or if you do have a journal for just the 4th of July, then this would be a fun project for you to do. It took one day, a couple hours throughout the day to do this project. Here I'm attaching some cardboard that I have taken and separated so that the inner part of the cardboard shows, and I'm just adding it for some texture onto my tag. I just used some old cardboard from a box that I had again, so you don't have to have special paper or special cardstock for this project. You just cut up a box and make some tags. Just adding some more paper to that one. Most of what I'm putting down right now is going to be covered anyway, as you'll see further down on the project. So I wouldn't worry about being too particular about each piece that you put on your surface, but it will poke through and it will add more texture to your finished product and more interest to your finished product. I'm just doing the same thing to the other tag that I had on there. I'm adding some more cardboard to the edges just to add some texture, using a baby wipe to wipe up the excess glue. These are some cards I've had for a while. They're very patriotic cards, but some are missing, so I'm using them for this project. And I'm going to be adding them to the tag. So first I'm going to add some gesso, just really thinly around the whole card surface. And once I am done with the gesso, then I'm going to let them just dry first. This is the gesso dried on. I added gesso to the surface of those tags. One of the videos got deleted, so it skips to this part. But what I did was add some gesso to the surface, and then this, I'm splashing it with the Uncharted Mariner Distress spray. Now we're going back to the cards, and I am adding some stenciling with some paint. This paint is acrylic paint, blue marine, sorry, or navy. I was reading another language. Anyways, it's navy blue, basically. Acrylic paint from Craftsmart. I got it at Michael's. They're actually having a sale on them right now, so right now it's a good time to go get them. I think it was like 3 of them, or 5 for $3, I think it was. And then I added some stars with the multi-surface premium matte. It's vintage gold, but it's also Craftsmart. Now I'm putting a little bit of that same paint around the edges of the card just to add some grunge. do. And everything I do to both cards. A little different on each one, so, you know, neither one's going to be exactly the same, but I do the same process. This, I'm using Distress Collage to add this star and this heart to the middle of the cards, just for some interest. It's a wooden heart with glitter on it, and the star is more like a foam star with glitter on the outside. Both of them I got at the dollar store a while ago, so I suggest that you check your dollar stores because they have a lot of really cheap craft pieces that you can use. Again, I'm using the Uncharted Mariner Distress Spray, adding some splashes and some interest around the edges of the card. I'm just dipping the stick of the lid in and just using the edge of that to edge the cards with some of that. That's that. They're going to dry now. Oh, so here it is. I guess maybe my videos were out of sync. So now I'm adding, now you're seeing the process of me adding the gesso. I did add a little bit thicker than I intended on doing, but I do still like the end result. So if you don't want it to go on really thick like I ended up having it go on, I would suggest that you put just a little bit at a time and maybe roll over it with a brayer roller and just blend it. Now I'm going over it with clear gesso and on the spaces that has nothing, so that when I go to add more details, everything is gessoed and ready to take other mediums. And the clear gesso is usually a little more clear than it turned out on these. I think it's because it mixed with the white gesso a little bit. So now I'm just adding some of that distress spray and some splashes. I have it in a box so the splashes don't get all over my desk. Here I have added some red Neo watercolor crayon to the edges and then just got them wet. That's where the red came from on the edges, and then let it, you know, just fall down. I'm adding some stars with the Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide and the Tim Holtz Star Stencil. Now I'm using another one of those Neo crayons so you can see how I did the red. So you just color it on where you want it and then use a water brush to add some water and the drips will come down. I try to kind of control where I'm letting the drips go. And you want to be a little bit careful about those stars you just put on if you don't want them streaked, because the Distress Oxide is water soluble, so it will streak when it's mixed with water. But if you like that, then, you know, go by all means, let them get wet. I did let some of mine get wet, and I don't mind that look because I'm going kind of for a grungy look on these tags today. Adding some more water and some more drips to the edges. Now, this is the back of the cards, so I don't want the box showing, so I'm going to cover them up with some cardstock on the back. I'm just using my art glitter glue to attach the cardstock to the back of these. And I simply just cut the edge off so it's even with the front. And I'm doing the same thing to the other one. I had that Uncharted Mariner all over my fingers. and it did not want to come off very well, but it was coming on, getting on the red paper. Didn't really matter too much though, because as you'll see, I'm going to be covering up the majority of that red paper and grunging up the back a little bit as well, so it was okay still. Now we're going to cover the tops. I chose not to use that sparkly paper, but white instead. It's kind of an off-white cardstock that I'm using. And these are scrap papers that I'm using, you guys. These are papers that I had left over from other projects, so I didn't go out and buy anything new for that. I just am using what I have, and I have encouraged you guys before to use what you've got, because it just makes your project more unique and special, and nobody else has exactly the same thing as you do. I would love to see what you guys might create. If you want to post them in the comments below, just to see the different things that you guys do with this project and the ideas that come up. Alright, I'm just, this is some paper that I dyed quite a while ago. Honestly, I don't even remember exactly what I used to dye it this color. I think I may have used food coloring, but it's kind of a light blue. It's hard to see in the film. And then I'm just going around the edges with that Distress Oxide Uncharted Mariner from Tim Holtz Ranger. And then I'm going to glue it down. So before I did all that, I don't know if you guys saw, but I scrunched up the paper to give it more of a grungy look. I'm just securing it with the glue, making sure everything's glued down well. And I'm going to do the same process to the other side, scrunching up the paper. Then I'm using a ruler with serrated edges to kind of give it a grunginess to the edges. And I'm just using that to cut it down to size. And again, I'm going to go around the edges with the Uncharted Mariner, Distress Oxide. I really like this new color, and it was perfect for this project. I didn't get it for this project, but it just worked out that way, and I was like, oh, nice. Perfect blue for patriotic color, for a patriotic project. I'm excited to try it in other projects as well. I really like the color, but blue's my favorite color, so it's hard for me not to like it. So now I'm going to add some more of those stars to the backs of these, just to bring in some more interest and also to tie it into the front of the cards. And I like how that turned out. Now we're going to flip it over and attach those cards that we were working on earlier. I'm going to attach them using some of that Distress Collage Medium matte. It does not take a lot to attach your media. It doesn't seem to like you have to hold it down for a few minutes, or at least press it down real well on some areas. But once that stuff is dry, it holds really, really well. So you just have to make sure you press it down long enough to give it that grip. Now I'm just cutting the corners. So if you cut one corner and take that same corner and then use it to measure the other side of your card, that's one way to, or the other side of your tag, that's one way to get the corners the same. Now I'm going to use this Folkalt Treasure Gold. It's acrylic paint. I'm just going to put it around the edges just barely opened it, so there was quite a bit of paint on that part that I was peeling off, so I thought, well, why waste it? Let's just use it on the edge of this. So I'm using that around the edge of the front of the tag. And my hands are really getting messy at this point. I'm just doing the same thing to the other side, going around the edges with the same paint. I'm going to let those dry, and then we'll be right back in like 2 seconds. Now they're dry, so I'm going to add these words to it. One says America, the other one says freedom, I believe. Right. They were just on some patriotic papers that I had. They're little stickers, word stickers. I'm just adding those on the tops of the cards there. Then I'm going to turn these over, add some more of that gold paint around the edges of the backs of these, just to finish off the edges and to help them coordinate with the front of this project. I really like this gold paint. I actually got it on sale at Michael's. It was in the clearance aisle. And I thought, well, it's gold. Gold you can't go wrong with. Now I'm just adding some hole punches with my irregular hole punch so that I can add some ribbon to the top. I got this ribbon. It's at Michael's. It was 50% off because, you know, it's almost the 4th of July and I just got it the other day. So I always try to get things when they're on sale. I don't like spending a ton of money. Art things can art supplies can add up quickly, so I try to just be smart with my money. That's the ribbon I choose. I was thinking about maybe adding a second ribbon, but I decided against it. So you just put it through the front there, loop it through, and then pull it tight. And do the same thing on the other side. I always cut the cut the ends into like a slant just to make them look nice. And there you go. They are done. I hope you guys enjoyed this project and happy 4th of July.